Hello, everyone. This is your host, Frankie Gerard Fernandez, extending a very warm welcome to each one of you. Today is the final day. It's also the grand final day as we announce the winners of the Goa Art Fest 2021. So, viewers, over the week you have witnessed an array of beautiful artwork. I have to thank a very special person who's provided the music. That music came to you from Goa Jazz. And I'm talking about the gentleman, the pioneer behind Goa Jazz, Colin DeCruz, for all his support. And awesome art workshops by talented Goan artists. A big thank you for all your support and your valuable time that you have given us. Before we start off today, in a very special way, I like to thank Nigel Gomes for hosting the 6 days of these festivities. A big thanks to Sophie Mascarenas, who also contributed by hosting the Goa Fest 2021. We have to thank in a very special way Ashley Alvarez for all the editing work that he has put in. And a big thanks to Perry Goyce for helping us out with the broadcast of the Goa Fest 2021. It's because of Perry Goyce and his broadcasting skills that you can watch the entire Goa Fest 2021 from the comforts of your home. Thank you very much. Next, we have the founder of the Global Goans, the founder of World Goa Day, Rene Barreto. He's also the founder of the Global Goans Art Club. Rene Barreto, for your welcome speech.
Hello, Global Goencast. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming you to our World Goa Day celebrations by the Global Goan Arts Club. The club was set up by a young Goan based in Mumbai by the name of Jason Antau. The club is growing from strength to strength. At this moment, we have a membership of about 300 and growing. The club was set up to encourage our global Goan artists to share their art and also to encourage our global Goan youth. The club is well supported by the efforts of Savio Mascarenas, also based in Mumbai. The club organizes frequent interviews with notable global Goan artists and has great plans for the future. Today, we welcome you to our Global Goan Festival, which has been running for a week now with various activities. We encourage our global Goans to support our efforts in promoting art among the global Goan youth in particular. Do visit our Global Arts Club on Facebook and on YouTube with a similar name. Thank you and Bore Kuru.
Amci girescai, goia mudas corunda și zau, purisieta, moza cotta, illo so fenige hoam so sobau, sobit mojesha, so danzu tedar, goa, goa, va cantare sonsar, goa, 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 goa. We ought to go out, go out, go out. Tin le trance, a purba e c'è, monan shanti di tavare goice, jivitam c'è, ami su sega, shit corice, von ruchik saniste, sobit mojeshat, sodan su tedar, go out, va cantare sonsa. Go out, 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 go out. Skiri-doo-pape, yo,
The global community is vibrant all across the globe. Right now, I have Adele Britto. She is the president of the Karnataka Goan Association. Adele Britto.
Moja Mogal Goenkarano. Warmest greetings to all our Goan brothers and sisters in India and across the world. I'm Adele Britto, the president of the Karnataka Goan Association, and I'd like to extend our warmest wishes from KGA Bangalore to the Global Goans Art Club for their initiative, the Goan Art Fest 2021. This is such a fantastic effort in the celebration of art and artists, and a wonderful platform for our youngsters to foray into the field of art fearlessly. It takes a lot of effort, so congratulations to all those who are giving up their time and energy to put this awesome event together. Keep up the good work. Mogasum. Devbore kurum.
Good to be in Goa. All roads lead to a bar. Happy people all around. Wait for their sound. Goa's state of mind stops daily grind. Never ever work too hard. Life is so sad. Woi, woi, boy. Goa simply chill, content and fulfilled. It's time for siesta, then time for fiesta. Goa's just a place to end the rat race. Set your spirit free while sipping on Fanny. The band begins to play, the people start to sway. There's music all around, they're moving to the sound. Goa's got the groove, makes you wanna move. Fanny fire oh so strong, just party all night long. Woi, woi, boy.
Another well-wisher of the Global Goan Art Club is a civil engineer by profession. She is the leader of the Goan cultural troupe Goanchi Lara, a versatile singer, songwriter and performer who has worked behind the scenes in putting Goa Fest 2021 together. Please welcome Flossy Gracious.
Good day, everyone. The Global Goan Art Club has been instrumental in organizing their first ever virtual art competition involving artists all over the Goan diaspora. It gives me an immense pleasure to be part of this project and be associated with something that everyone is passionate about. The first ever online Goan Fest 2021 is a brainchild of Savio Mascarenas and Jason Antown, who have put in so much efforts and their valuable time in coordinating this event. It's been a commendable initiative to keep the Goans and bring Goan artists together. This fest started a week ago with so much art workshops by the art experts, which was so wonderful to watch and learn, and today ending with a big event this way. To everyone who participated, thank you very much for your interest that you have shown in this online art fest. My heartiest congratulations to Rennie Barreto, Savio Mascarenas, Jason Antao, Perry Goyce, and Ashley Alvarez for putting up this great show for our Goans, and I wish all the very best for the Global Goans Art Club for their future art activities. Mogasu, Mogwadu, Teoporenkuru.
Renting a cheap shack down by the sea, listening to mandos and sweet Cantonese, watching the sunrise over the palm trees and shining its light over me. I'm in Goa, sweet, sweet Goa, free as the breeze and happy as happy can be. Oh, sweet Goa, sweet, sweet Goa. I watch the sea kiss the sand while the birds sing in sweet harmony. I watch the boats coming in with the catch of the day, see the crabs crawling up on the sand, hear the church bells calling the faithful to pray all over this beautiful land. I'm in Goa, sweet, sweet Goa, free as the breeze and happy as happy can be. Oh, sweet Goa, sweet, sweet Goa. I watch the sea kiss the sand while the birds sing in sweet harmony.
Hello, viewers. And now we present some beautiful poems narrated by these lovely little kids from Goa.
Khare morok ugrun, variachu sangar geon. Khare morok ugrun, variachu sangar geon. Mochon aus khurun, paus ilo deon. Mochon aus khurun, paus ilo deon. Matieto vas ailo, bebo zago zalo. Matieto vas ailo, bebo zago zalo. Jeton sad gatlo, vor sokol natslo. Jeton sad gatlo, vor sokol natslo. Somne udok zale, melo toshe vale. Zomne udok zale, melo toshe vale. Shetan poson wigle, soim ton zale. Shetan poson wigle, soim ton zale. Body geon hatant, daulo netan gotiant. Body geon hatant, daulo netan gotiant. Boilang andi chiklant, shetka daulo shetant. Boilang andi chiklant, shetka daulo shetant.
Cowlan cow kelle, moran ang fafulle. Cowlan cow kelle, moran ang fafulle. Cogran geet gaile, shonatche bire udle. Cogran geet gaile, shonatche bire udle.
Fola to bar, sobi gultani to savar. Fola to bar, sobi gultani to savar. Giras goi to vatar, pau sadiant pau chia natar. Giras goi to vatar, pau sadiant pau chia natar.
Dilbari
Coming up next is an insightful panel discussion between three eminent Goan artists. They've done extremely well, not just in Goa and India, but globally. We have with us Lena Vincent, who is an independent art historian and a curator working with prestigious organizations like the Serendipity Art Foundation and the Sunaprant Art Initiator Lab, Goa. She will be in conversation with Yolanda Souza, ex-footballer. She's represented India at international level. She's also an eminent painter and muralist. Our third guest is Vincent Costa, a filmmaker, photographer, songwriter, and a founder of the Get Creative Goa platform.
Hi, good morning, Vince, and good morning, Yolanda. It's so lovely to see you
Good morning.
here. And
Good
I
morning,
think we're
Yolanda.
really missing each other, meeting each other in physical spaces, but this is the world now. So we are meeting today to, in fact, connect with the Goan, the Global Goans Art Fest. And I think that what our discussion is today is about what is the art and culture world in Goa today, and how can we work towards making it a more interesting and vibrant space. So to begin with you, Yolanda, because you have been a prominent artist and an inspiration of sorts to so many others in Goa. I'd like to ask you, from when you began your career as an artist to now, what are the kind of changes you have felt? And how do you feel now being an artist in Goa?
Thanks, Lina, and good morning to you both, Vince and you. Yeah, it's been a long journey, and it's not been not I would not say it has not been satisfying, because obviously to the person who's kind of the person who's the artist or whatever, it doesn't matter what goes around, but it has been a journey for the whole system and for the art scene in Goa. Because in those days, art didn't really work. Even if you went to the art college, when I joined the art college for that matter, everybody was saying, what are you doing? That's not what you should be doing. You don't know anything about art, because schools didn't have proper art teachers and stuff like that. Anyways, I went on to join the college, and once you finish, for that matter, even when you're in the college, you're advised to go to applied arts, where you can make two pennies and not be in painting, But yeah, I tried that, because most 100% of my friends had joined the applied arts, but then it wasn't for me. It was like I was very uncomfortable there, So I left and came back to painting, and I finished. And of course, once you finish, there are no galleries. There was the Kala Academy, of course, which had one show a year. There were no galleries. There was nothing, so you find a job. Luckily, I was in a place which was arty and made your mind move. It was a creative place. But art never really happened until this gentleman from, from Holland, Mr. Jan, came by, and he started a gallery wherein a lot of Goan artists started, showing and getting seen, not by the locals, let me tell you. It was more the foreigners. Art was being promoted more by the foreigners. So basically, when I got into, I wanted to be 100% in art, and it was much later that I decided to kick my job and get into painting and start a gallery. It was somewhere in 97. Even then, it was totally backed by the foreigners, And it did happen. And little things when they sold, or, when people came to your gallery, felt good. But where the Goa scene in that sense was concerned, there wasn't much happening, really. It was very tough for an artist to live on art. Until later, it kind of took over. I mean, people started coming in, artists started selling. So the movement was better in the early 2000s, actually. And then
as recent as that.
Absolutely. So it was tough, but it got easier by the 2000s. And then, of course, due to the meltdown, it went back to, and it only kept artists who were really interested in painting, and not only getting the work sold, even galleries, the mushroom galleries during from 2000 to 2005, 2006, galleries had mushroomed in Goan. Everybody was starting galleries because works were selling. Like you name the price, your work was sold. But once the meltdown was there, everything disappeared except those who were passionate about art. Yeah, they vanished. They just vanished, locked out and disappeared.
Right.
Yeah, but then it carried on with people who loved art. So there was my space, there was Subodh space. I think Gitanjali, Sunaparanta later. Yeah. So we held on because mostly we were artists or we were passionate about art. So, it didn't matter really. All we wanted was to showcase. And for me, it was to showcase when I started the gallery, it was to shake myself and the artists here who didn't have a space to, showcase their works. Yeah, so now it's much different. It's very different. Art is happening almost everywhere, and it's fantastic for Goa that we are moving. We were novices when we started, in the sense that Goa itself was very new to art, to accept art as something important, It was taken as a pastime, or okay, she's an artist or whatever. But now the artist has respect. The art itself, and it's wonderful that, it's being taken up by youngsters, the young kids, the parents, families, they also want their kids to be in art. It's not the point in, it's not like you have to be a great artist or whatever, but to express oneself, I think this is one of the best mediums, it gives you a certain freedom. Everybody can just go and, play around with colors or with your thoughts or whatever. And it gives you a good feeling. So it's good for the youth also, as they grow up. So I think now is a fabulous time. Then it was a huge struggle. Not that now it isn't, but there are many, many ways in which you can, promote yourself for that matter, or get seen or whatever. It's very different now. And it's good for the art world. Yeah.
Thank you, Yolanda. I think that is a very interesting perspective because you put it so clearly about the kind of changes that have taken place in a relatively short amount of time. So coming to you, Vince, you are also an artist, a photographer, a filmmaker, and someone involved in several different streams of artistic practice, let's say. So asking you about what are the kind of gaps you see in creative education and also in professional spaces, and how do we as contemporary practitioners address these gaps that exist?
Thank you so much, Lina. Thank you for having me here. So I'd like to build a little bit on what Yolanda has said, as well as add two of my own bits in a way. I totally agree with what Yolanda said in terms of where art was and where we are today. But if we just look at creativity and we look at where creativity stems from, I think the first place we get exposed to creativity really is within our households. It's what our parents do. And then that gives us the scope to either be creative or not to be creative. So is creativity being encouraged in a household first? So even before we thrust the responsibility onto an organization or an institute, I think the first thing is to see whether the household itself is creative, right? Otherwise, we are putting the responsibility onto like somebody else to teach our children creativity. The second thing is we've got to look at the next area where children spend a lot of time, which is school. And if we look at how schools approach teaching kids even till today, a lot of it is driven on curriculum, which is focused on finishing portion, finishing things. So it's all academic, right? And so do kids get exposed to the artistic side and creativity? Yes, they do. And to a large extent, they're allowed to explore a bit of it in school. So kids understand that they can paint, they can sing, they can do all these things, right? But what I find happening is that the minute the child says, I want to now look at this as something serious, I want to take this on as a part of my profession, that's when the brakes get jammed. That's when parents start to freak out. That's when society starts to say, oh, you know what, I don't think this is, and I can understand where they're coming from, like, because we're still in that security mindset. We want something secure for our children. We want to know that they're going to be okay. And the arts, as we know, we always are called the struggling artist, you know. But the truth is, we've also got to find out why are we struggling, right? So what I find happening is many artists, they are really good at their art, but they don't understand how to market themselves. So that's why they're struggling. So the marketing part is different from being an artist. And you might be great at your art, but if you don't know how to market, you're going to be a struggling artist, right? But coming back to your question in terms of where are the gaps, I feel the gap is really in the approach, in terms of the collective social approach towards art, how we are looking at, and when I mean art, I'm not just talking about painting, I'm talking about the creative expression today. How welcoming we are to that creative expression, how encouraging we are to that creative expression. And what I find happening is, so in my opinion, there's never been a lack of talent in Goa. There's always been talent in Goa. But what we have lacked is direction. What we have lacked is mentorship. What we have lacked is somewhere to channel all of this stuff, right? And what I find happening is that the artists exist in Goa today. They're all doing work independently, but there's very little collaboration happening. So we're not really collaborating with each other. We're not working. We're not doing multidisciplinary collaborations. An artist does art, a photographer does photography, a dancer does dancer, but these dialogues are not happening. So where is the gap? The gap really is for a space which brings people together and starts having these conversations and allows these conversations to happen. The second gap I find happening is that a lot of education that is being dished out to students in the creative industries or creative formats today is redundant. They're teaching them very old stuff for something. So I'm not saying the principles are not important. The principles are important, but the context is gone. Like, I think the curriculum has not updated itself to the needs of the student. So students are going into classrooms, spending 3 years of their life, but bored to death because the curriculum is not updated, the faculty has not updated themselves. And so as a result, you're getting, so students are actually going to YouTube and other channels to actually learn the things they need to learn, which is very good. But on the other hand, what I'm saying here is, why are we spending so much time in a classroom learning pretty much redundant things? You know, so I think that needs a revamp. And finally, you said, you know, what needs to be done in a corporate or in a working, in a professional space. You know, in a professional space, I think it's pretty much the same thing that we mimic either in schools or in institutes. If you want people to let me just put it this way: a creative person is going to come up with ideas that at some point in time is going to challenge you. And if you're not opening to being challenged, if you're not open in your organization to allowing that challenge to happen, you're going to stifle creativity. And then you're going to go, but there's no creativity. Yes, there's no creativity because you're not allowing creativity to happen. You've got to have the courage to allow it to happen, which means that whether we are in schools, we need to be challenged. Whether we are in colleges, we need to be challenged. And what I mean by that is authority that runs these institutes must allow the creative minds to challenge the norms. You know, otherwise, how is that's what creativity does. You look at creative people, the reason they're pushing boundaries is because they're constantly challenging the norm, right? And if we have strict, rigid structures in place, it's impossible. So it's like it's a dichotomy that you want it on one side, but you're stifling it on the other, and then you're complaining that it's not happening. So in my perspective today, there's an abundance of creative people in Goa today across the spectrum. It's brilliant what some of the kids are doing today in Goa. They just need direction, they need mentorship, they need opportunity, they need people to really understand them and create the platform and infrastructure for them, you know. So I think that's pretty much my input. I think I've maybe covered your points.
Yes. Thank you, Vince. I think that was that gave a lot of clarity, and I hope that everyone watching will also, you know, think about these things more, because we do need innovation, we do need ideas and creativity in every field. Coming back to you, Yolanda, what is the kind of advice you would give young artists today about making their presence felt not only in a Goan cultural landscape, but also nationally and internationally? What are the main things that they should be thinking of?
Yeah, I think Vince has kind of covered up most of it in that sense, because it was very correct what he was talking about. Yeah, creativity in Goa does exist, and it's good news that the artist today is very aware of the fact that he has to promote himself, and they do. Most of them do. How far they can reach, of course, it depends on people who should be helping them. It doesn't always happen on their own, because it's always, if a gallery or somebody knowledgeable promotes them, it reaches out to the people more than if you try to move on your own completely. But then again, like I used to have this, competition, which I still do, but had to keep a hold and just kind of give it to whoever to me looked like somebody who wants to be someone. It was for young artists, artists who just graduated, because it's very difficult for them to get into the scene, to be seen or to be recognized, as in to be given a chance to, showcase themselves. But what I found is that hardly anyone used to come forward to join the competition.
Right.
And the competition meant the winner would get a chance to showcase, have a solo show in my gallery. So I had to kind of run behind them, But most of the guys who have won and have participated, they're something today, and they're really doing well. So these are the guys who went out of the way, and so in that sense, I think it all depends on the artist and how hungry you are to do something different, to have yourself seen, because unless you sin, you're not going to be recognized or looked at, So now there are so many platforms, and I know the young artist today is very well acquainted with all these things, going to the net, putting up their works, getting to galleries, of course, but we have to go beyond Goa. For us, it was very difficult. We were so used to just being within ourselves that even today, if I want to go, I will wait for somebody to invite me, but I will not kind of, move to. It took me a lot of time to kind of move out from there. In fact, it was friends who said, go ahead and do it, But now the young artists, because to get into the national scene itself, if you just keep on showcasing only in Goa, nobody's going to see you. You have to go to cities that are art friendly, where art happens in the real sense, like Delhi or Bombay or Hyderabad or wherever. But you got to move out. So many of the artists, they do that, but there are many who don't, and they're pretty good, So in today's world, you can't wait to be spoon-fed,
No.
You need support. There's no, but you have to also move and make your presence felt. And yeah, be innovative in your ways. You have got to. You can look at all the happenings on the internet, but keep the aping part away, because sometime you're going to be, and it's not going to make you happy. You can think of things, find a way to, maybe take it as an example, and then do something of your own that's going to be something that, is going to make heads move. That's the only way to be seen, And there's nothing, you've got to work. It's like getting up and having your breakfast, It's part of your life. You have to keep on working, keep on, experimenting, keep on, seeing that you're moving from, the moment you feel you're stuck into something, get out of it, because it's not going to make you happy, Unless you get out of that same, thing every day, you get out of it, and then you feel more liberated, And this way also, like Ben said, it depends on the people who promote. There are some people who want a particular type of work from a person because it sells, and they keep on pressurizing the artist to give the same kind of works. And because of the monetary constraints, obviously the artist keeps on doing the same thing. So so that doesn't give a chance for artists to experiment and do something different, something fresh that's going to add to his repertoire of working. So
Yes.
yeah, I think the young artist today doesn't need much of telling how to go about it, but they should also use their minds and see that they go about it the right way. Promotion
Yes.
can be, it depends on where you're doing it. Totally here. I think we have to move out from our kind of cocoon that we are in and spread our wings further to really
Yes.
be seen and yeah, that's what I would be thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yolanda. Actually, as a curator myself and working in this space for the last 8 years, at least in Goa, I have also experienced similar reluctance sometimes in artists pushing themselves forward to their full capacity. And, I'm very happy to be running now this Sunaparanta Art Initiator Lab, which is purely on mentorship, and it is about developing professional careers in a space that is creative. And I'm really enjoying the interactions with the youngsters. We have people from age of 22 to 47, so it's a wonderful group of people. So that's something that I'm enjoying experimenting with myself. But as a curator, I think in Goa, I've really, as I agree with both of you, that there is an enormous amount of talent. And in terms of multidisciplinary collaborations, Vince, particularly commenting on what you said, I think that there are some social projects and citizen movements that have brought art to the forefront, like the Molem, My Molem project, which has brought so many artists and illustrators and people who care about the environment in Goa to come forward to make a campaign about it. And it includes musicians, it includes so many other people. So that kind of thing is also very exciting in bringing art to the forefront. And, I think that this is the moment for all of us to sort of put our creative instincts out there and then come together to make these different changes. So to come to the end of this discussion, actually, I'd like to ask both of you to give your comments on how do we go about, what are the couple of things that we can actually do to bring about some kind of change, to make this collaboration more impactful and to provide a more, let's say, vibrant cultural atmosphere in Goa. This is to both of you. Vince, perhaps you can also talk about your platform.
Sure. So the first thing I'd like to say is I want to just take a minute to reiterate what Yolanda said in terms of that. Like I could build a platform. You could run some great mentorship courses. Yolanda could do her art space. But if people are predominantly not hungry, they are not passionate. Like, I'm not saying they're not passionate. They could be passionate, but they're not hungry. Then, and I think as Goans, we need to now, in context of today, we need to step up to the plate as well as, shirk off. It's good to have the Susegad sort of vibe, but we need to sort of re-inspect that and maybe even shirk it off to a certain extent so that we can grow outside of Goa, go into the national space and go even into the international space, because we have that talent. I truly believe we have the talent. It's just that we're not taking it into that zone. The second thing I would want to say is that we need to also create a paradigm shift in our mindset towards creative expression in Goa. And what I mean by that is whether this is a social shift in the social mindset or it is a shift in the entrepreneurial mindset, we need to not just look at creativity as time pass. We need to look at it as actually an industry. Until we look at creative industry. We have to use the word industry after creative. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of creative people in Goa today, but we lack a creative industry wherein we actually have statistics about how much these people contribute to Goa's economy every year. We understand, what these people are generating for Goa besides just money. We understand what is the policy that these people require. Because until we understand we need to create an industry, we're never going to get better policy. We're not going to have the support systems we need, and we're just going to be stuck in that same loop, you know. So that's the second thing I want to say. Well, thirdly, yes, I am building a platform right now called Get Creative Goa. And Get Creative Goa is right. It's a very young project. It's 1 year old, and it's right now in its basic format online. It's a website where you can go now and you can find all the different types of creative people that are in Goa by category, by experience, by all these things. So if you're looking for somebody in Goa today, you can go to creativegoa.com or the Instagram page, which is Get Creative Goa. And what we're looking to do is really start to address some of these things, these issues that are there in Goa, you know, and sort of collaborate with people and build something that supports the creative industry. You know, you're muted.
That's really inspiring, and I hope that lots of people get creative, get on that platform. Yolanda, your final comments for this discussion.
Yeah, I think basically it's absolutely correct what Vince was saying. That's exactly, and it's fantastic that he has created this space wherein you can, log in and find people that you can, follow or whatever. The other thing is that I think, what happens in most places abroad where I've been going, people are meeting every month, getting together, creating together.
Yeah.
And what I find there is that, when we go, we tend to, because of the paucity of time, probably, whatever, you just go and do whatever you're always doing, So I would prefer to have a place here where people are going to meet, it could be in any space, whoever has it. It should be that they should be instructed or, mentored as to create something different,
Yeah.
So that they're creating not what they have been doing all the time, but a space and a meeting where they will be creating something different beyond what they normally do. Perhaps that will help them get out of the cocoon or whatever. And for whatever reason, it's going to better, themselves and what they're showcasing. So I think this kind of it would be nice if people could support these events, because I would love to have that every month and all youngsters and whatever. But unfortunately, you need a lot of money support to get that done, especially if youngsters want to do something different, wherein, of course, money is involved, so you need people to support it. So I wish the industrialists or whoever, who should support these events. We can't always depend on government support, and to be honest, I'm not very much with that, because then you're supposed to work in a pattern. This should be a place where everybody is free. The person who's thinking also is free, to kind of get things done the way they should be done, and not curtailed by certain norms and certain things, but support 100% is needed. So hopefully it happens like you have a space where different artists of all ages meet and try to do something different from what they normally do. Not to say it's away from their way of, working, but innovative in the thinking sense, in the subject of forwarding it, or the way you are showcasing your stuff. I think that would help a lot. It would help a lot, and basically invite people from other places also. Like an international meet or a national meet where you have people from other states coming, so you have a kind of exchange. So yeah, I think that might be one of the ways to see that art and creativity keeps growing.
Right. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Vince. I think that it's been wonderful to have this conversation. And on that note of having the passion and the hunger, and also with hope for more support for the artistic and creative community. Thank you so much again, and see you soon.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you so much. Take care, Yolanda. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Nice meeting you.
See you soon, actually.
So much that you know about in your own field, and that itself is like a lot of sharing. Like, Lina's experience with curating art, talking about art history and everything is a, definitely an amazing subject to speak, and Vince initiative, of course. And of course, this entire thing about promoting art, and that is something which, or how does one artist go about selling his art? And that is something which I'm sure is going to be of great help. So, but I would really want to thank you guys for doing this. And yeah, we shall catch up soon. But thank you very much from the Global Goan Art Club. Thanks a lot, guys.
And finally, we come to the announcement of the winners of the first ever Goa Art Fest 2021. Well, before that, let's hear what the judges had to say in regard to all the entries that were received. Let me tell you, the judges had a very tedious job on hand to select the best entries.
Hey there, this is Sagar Naik Mule, visual artist from Goa. So it was my pleasure that I was a part of the Goan Art Fest 2021 as a jury member. So I congratulate first of all to everyone whoever who has achieved prizes, and even the best wishes, and thanks to everyone who participated with a lot of enthusiasm in this competition. So with the blessings and wishes, I thanks to Global Goan Art Club, who has given me a beautiful and wonderful opportunity to judge this work. So again, thank you to everyone, and keep doing the work and make Goa proud. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vinit Nair. I'm the Deputy Art Director for Tinkle Magazine. It was a wonderful experience to go through all of your artwork. Art is used to express your feelings, and I could clearly read your emotions and feelings for Goa from your artwork. Each of you had your own way of creativity, and I loved it. So, keep up the good work. Have a nice time. Bye. Hello everyone. On behalf of all the judges, I would like to congratulate each and every participant. Now, let's check the winners of this competition. From the junior section, the second runner-up is Utpal Garudi. The first runner-up is the tie between two paintings, and they are Jade Machado and Neha Ravindra Juwalkar. And the winner is Jesus D'Souza. For the teen section, the second runner-up is Jason D'Souza. The first runner-up is Faven Jerusha Rodriguez. And the winner is Soham Govind Juvekar. Now, for the adult section, the second runner is Pamela Pinto. First runner-up is Vidhi Sanjay Seth. And the winner is Rudraji Borkar. I would like to congratulate all the winner and even the participants for showing such a beautiful paintings. Thank you. Have a nice day.
The winners from wherever you are watching, I can see you smiling at this moment. But thank you very much for your participation and congratulations once again for winning the prizes. We shall be writing to you soon in regard to your prizes. So please keep in touch and we shall be in touch with you.
आता किती
Well, thank you, viewers, for your time. And with that, we come to the end of the first ever Goan Art Fest 2021 organized by the Global Goan Art Club. In a very special way, I'd like to thank Jason Antau and Savio Mascarenas for all their support and the efforts that they have put in organizing this event. Also, in a very special way, let me thank Perry Goyce, the man who is responsible in broadcasting this entire series to you. A big thank you, Perry Goyce. Ladies and gentlemen, and the viewers out there, this is your host, Frankie Gerard Fernandez, signing off. Good night and goodbye. Deo Bore Koro.